Hello, how's everybody doing on this Tuesday? There's certain days where I was telling my wife, everybody was talking about watching those different pandemic movies and things like that. And I said, gosh, this reminds me a little bit more of Groundhog Day at times. But today it was absolutely beautiful, gorgeous. So I was outside, ate lunch with our little 2-year-old Zeke. And that was absolutely fantastic because it was sunny and warm and nice after all that rain. It was just absolutely fantastic. And we took a little walk this morning. We like to go around 8:30 before everybody gets out. So we're just running into maybe a couple of runners. But if you go too late, there's just way too many people, and the social distancing isn't just happening when you go late in the afternoon. But anyways, I will continue right now. Somebody asked, did your wife make the schedule? She borrowed the schedule and then updated it for our family as well. Did a few other things. So, but she had a good blueprint out there. Just for credibility's sake, I'm a quantitative economics decision sciences major, UC San Diego. I've been 29 years in the real estate business, Orange County native, Cap Valley High School grad, 9 kids, avid runner, and you guys have all seen my kids by now. Let's see. Is this doing it? Let's see. You have to plug in the mouse in order for it to work. All right, there we go. Okay, so there's all my kids, and we had the bonus kid as well. Pretty awesome. We have 10, and we're holding, we're stopping, we're done. 10 is good. So reports on housing, I've been bringing it every other week since 2004, and it's a housing report for Orange County and Los Angeles, Riverside, San Bernardino, San Diego. Did I miss one? There's 5 of them. Riverside County, did I say that? San Bernardino, San Diego, LA. Anyways, the most recent one that came out is called The Showdown. We're going to be crunching the numbers again this Thursday. So this Friday, I'll give everybody a sneak peek as to what the numbers look like. And then there will be a new presentation or new report that comes out this coming up Monday for LA, San Diego, and Orange County. The one that just came out this week is this one. It is The Showdown. And The Showdown was for San Bernardino, Riverside. We did LA, San Diego, Orange County last week for The Showdown. We alternate the weeks between the Inland Empire and along the coast. So reportsonhousing.com, you hit subscribe, you get a month free if you sign up today. The coupon code is HOME. So you put in the coupon code HOME and you will see that you'll get a month free. And you can get sample reports and lots of questions answered at the FAQ and sample report section. And I'd like to thank our sponsor, Decontaminate Home, and you can go to decontaminatehome.com to see about their coronavirus sanitation service that they provide. Hospital grade disinfection, kills 99.99% of the viruses and bacteria and destroys airborne pathogens, and is EPA registered products is what they use. So it starts at $395. Just go to decontaminatehome.com. And here's some spring fun photos. I like to start everything off with that before we get into all the nuances of what's going on with the housing market and COVID-19. And I thought this was fantastic. I'm going to need a haircut soon. I'm going on 4 weeks of not having my haircut. So my wife's going to have to try her hand out on my locks and see what she can do. I might have a really short haircut coming up, but that's a son and a dad. I thought this was fantastic. Just back from our cruise, had a great time. And it's for your own good. You've got to stop touching your face. That's what the dog is telling its owner. I thought that was cute. And then looking at the map for some weekend travel ideas. Yeah, we're all going to hang out in the tent in the backyard. All right, I saw this too. Somebody sent me this. I thought this was fantastic. Brilliant, right? Easter eggs with masks. I think that's fantastic. Lots of fun. So now off to some coronavirus update. This is comparing last Friday when we did it to today. So this is the longest between the two reports. So Friday, the housing debrief. So we did one Friday, and this is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, so 4 days. The coronavirus, the facts, there are now 1,986,000 cases. By the end of today, we will have breached 2,000. That's up 18% compared to last Friday. Now, the recoveries are starting to pick up some steam, and they're beating the cases right now as far as the increase, and they're at 472,000, so it's up 26%. 125,000 deaths, that's up 23%. And 606,500 total cases in the United States, that's up 22%. And then there are 25,400 United States deaths, that's up 38%. And then we have 325 million US citizens. I just do that for perspective. And it sure would have been a whole lot worse if we had not done this lockdown. There are 24,600 cases in California, and that's up 21%. And 2,973,000 tests done so far, and that's up 25% since last Friday. So we're doing a lot of testing right now. And here are the facts for Southern California: 9,480, it's up 19%. 1,300 in OC, up 20. And then we have 1,850 in San Diego, that's up 14. Riverside, 1,750, up 37%. And then 977 in San Bernardino, that's up 34%. Now, coronavirus and economy, I've talked about it. It's going to all boil down to scale and duration, and we have scale. Scale is around the world. We have it. We have it in the United States. It's definitely here. And it's now boils down to duration. And this is something that I'm looking at, is duration, and a lot of us are, but here we've kind of reached a plateau. We had all these cases, and the number of cases just kept on climbing day to day to day. And now we've kind of reached a max, and it looks like we're coming up and down. It'd be nice to see when this curve starts to come down, and especially in the United States as well, for us locally. I mean, we want it for the whole world, but in the United States, it's very important. And everything that I've been talking about and what I'm laying out with the expected market time staying in balanced is if we get this stay-at-home order that goes away by the time we get to the end of May. And that looks like that's where we're most likely headed. Governor Newsom for California just laid out there. I think that there are 5 or 6 different items that need to be in place for them to remove the lockdown, and they'll be working on that. And they have the time to do that. So my projection of doing this at stay-at-home order until the end of May, if that comes true, and then we start to slowly get back to normal business, not totally normal business the way we know it, but we're getting out and the economy is starting to roll. That is something that I'm looking for. And those are the things that I'm looking for. So it all boils down to duration, and it really does look like there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And that's going to be most important to getting us back online, because the legislation and everything will be there to try to fill in the gap and bridge us to the other side. There will be casualties. Not every job is going to come back. Not every homeowner is going to be made whole. There will be more distress. It will be nothing like the Great Recession. It'll be a lot more like it'll be more than what we've been dealing with recently, but we're coming off of extreme lows, like 25-year lows for people being late on their payments, things like that. So it's a bottom. Same thing with unemployment. Unemployment, we're going to come back down the road, but there's no way we can get back down to that same unemployment level immediately. It would take many years of an expansion to get back down to a 50-year low, which is where we were last. But let's talk about the light at the end of the tunnel. In the whole world, we're actually seeing daily new confirmed cases. It looks like we've reached that max, and we're starting to hit that plateau around the world. And this plateau actually mirrors a lot of what the United States is, because we're adding the most cases around the world as well. So it looks a lot like this, which is the United States. This is actually a good slide. I mean, it's not great in the fact that we're adding 30,000 new cases each day, but it's not been going exponentially up like what we were dealing with before. So we've kind of hit that plateau. What we want to see is that this lockdown order brings this down, this new cases down, like we've seen in so many other countries. California, I know this looks like it's fantastic, but I do want to say that yesterday it got all the way up to 1,000, but we've hit that same plateau in California, and we should be coming down over the course of the next couple of weeks to, look, by the time we get to the end of May, we should be on the other side of this, and we should be looking a lot like South Korea, China, and other areas as well. This was neat. This was as of today. This was a net change in total hospitalizations. In New York, they actually have seen fewer people in the hospital that have actually come out. The net number that are coming in, the number that are coming out, it's actually, there's people that are freeing up beds. So there's actually, this is a good sign, and it's a sign where that's where they were headed. And now it looks like they're in a better spot than they have been in quite some time. And these are latest numbers. This is through, I guess it was yesterday. You see the Italy, their numbers, they've already peaked. They're starting to come down. That's good news. Spain has really come down, and this was as of yesterday as well. I mean, they're really coming down quite a bit. Yes, there are 2,797 new cases, but it's where they were before. You've got to start to see it continue to come down, which is what they're doing. They're seeing deaths come down as well. And then, so there is that light at the end of the tunnel. You could see the United States, we're now at that peak spot. We're at where these are, where it was up here, where we're going to start to see this come down over the course of the next couple of weeks. And so there will be that light at the end of the tunnel. And we will be going, this is China. This is, and this is South Korea. You could see people are going back to business. They're wearing masks, and the economy is starting to function again. Are they at full tilt the way that they were prior to this? No. But are they where they were at the lockdown? No. That's why it's going to be this gradual thaw after the stay-at-home order is lifted. It'll be this gradual thaw where we will start to see the numbers increase and get better and better. So the macroeconomic outlook. I did have an audience of 4 children. They were all sitting there, and I looked and I started doing this. The next thing you know, I'm looking up and they're all gone. So I don't have a single kid that's now watching my program. They did help me at least to turn this on. My wife set everything up, so pretty cool. So we'll talk about the macro charts, the BC, that's before coronavirus. We all know that all that stuff is positive, and those are slowly but surely dwindling, the numbers that are out there. And then we have AD, that's the after the disease. A lot of charts, a lot of them are showing negative. There's no need to go into all of them. We talked about this last week, unemployment, and that is very concerning. However, that's what happens when you shut down the entire economy, when you see something like this. When you shut down the economy, yes, you're going to get the unemployment and the spike in it. And the concern that so many people have is that how are these people going to continue to go forward? Won't they lose their homes? And this is not a permanent gig, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to bridge the gap, and that's why they've come up with different things like the forbearance. But I want to say people really need to make their payments as best as they possibly can. The more investigation I've done on forbearance, the harder it is. It's just not something you want to do unless you absolutely have to do it. And we'll get into that in more detail, and I have a website for everybody to go to on Friday. But this tells you that this shows negative numbers, that we're going up. That's because a lot of people were searching how to do it in the month of March and April, and you could see the number of searches on a daily basis coming down. And this is a fantastic chart to share. I think Logan Motoshami shared this, and then I found the same exact thing by Googling a file for unemployment, Google Trends, and this is good news, which means that fewer people are searching it, which means fewer people are looking for unemployment. So we could still see that the numbers will be high in the coming up weeks. However, they won't be as high as where they were before, and they'll start to come down. But total unemployment, we've got to get them back to work. But part of that is by the time we get to the end of May, I think these Western states are going to be one of the leading states that will be unlocking their economies. But they'll do it very intelligently with looking at where there's still a problem, what can be opened, what can't. So look for it to be a little bit different on the other side, but at least we'll be able to do something other than just stay at our homes. And then, like I said, I want to call it a pandemic, not a recession. We are in the midst of a severe pandemic that's brought on by us helping out the health of everybody out there. So, and we're in uncharted waters. I want people to understand that we're in a modern society, that we're all tied together, the whole wide world, and we're all electronic. So to try to compare it to past economic downturns because of viruses or contagions, that's just extremely difficult to do, where we shut down the economy completely. So how we unwind this is I've heard lots of people, there's been really negative guesses as to how negative it's going to be, and there's other people that think it's going to be V-shaped. The more research you do, the more you realize it's going to be extremely difficult for it to be V-shaped. I even saw the Fed guy say U-shaped. It doesn't even sound like it's going to be U-shaped. That's the one that I think it's going to be most likely resembling. However, it's going to be a U-shape where we came down hard, and then it's going to be this slow thaw for the rest of the year until we get back to where we are really humming, maybe by the very end of the year, and especially into the first quarter of 2021. But we're in the United States. America will be back, and we are very resilient, and we will put in a lot of different programs to help us get to that other side. There's going to be more programs to come from Washington, D.C. That's the AB. That's America is back. And I want to just briefly touch upon the mortgage market. I've been looking at it. I just want everybody to understand that the mortgage market is still somewhat broken on the back end. They're trying to get the fixes in, but you need to be patient in working with your lender. You need to be very flexible. You need to be working with, as far as the home loan is concerned, you need to be understanding that rates aren't going to be as favorable as what you think unless you have an 800 credit score and you're putting a big down payment and you have great income to payment to income ratios. You have to understand that if you don't have all that, that it's going to affect your rates, it's going to affect your points, and expect to pay points now. Expect the rate lock to be delayed. And there's going to be tighter qualifications. Think back to like 2014, 2015, where everything was a lot tighter. We never got loosey-goosey like subprime and the Great Recession, but the mortgage qualification was easing in time, and there was more, there was non-QM products that were available. Well, those have disappeared, and now we're back to where we were in 2014, 2015, but it doesn't mean that we can't do loans. It means that you really have to qualify, and you have to put people in the right product. And we have interest rates that are low across the board. The average is 3.33%. I've seen them all over the board. I continue to look at it, but you have to understand those are the people with the best credit that are conventional and that are that are putting in a sizable down payment, and just everything that fits in a box nicely. Outside of those boxes, you're going to be paying a little bit more. And but I've been following the 10-year treasury. There's no use on me continuously snapping this photo over and over again because it's been staying right around 0.73, 0.75, right around there. And until it rises above 1, that's an indicator that we are in a patch where things are starting to look good. We're almost at the light at the end of the tunnel. That's when you're going to see more things come online, and you're going to start to see some reports of the economy starting to improve. So we'll be watching that carefully. But let's talk about the Southern California market and the big supply versus demand. And I'm going to give a really good overview as to what I mean by the supply versus demand, and compare and contrast it to today versus prior to the Great Recession, because so many people are hanging so tightly on that Great Recession, and they think that that's where we're going to be headed. But I'm going to explain why. Because right now we're dealing with the supply issue. It's not that we have plenty of homes out there to show people. It's remained relatively flat. And the supply problem looks like this. This is Southern California active listing inventory, and this is where we're at. And on April 9th, which is almost 2 Thursdays ago, so here we are Tuesday, and 2 more days we crunch numbers, so that was 12 days ago. It was 29,148. It was up 1% or 332 in 2 weeks. Then last year we were at 41,479. That's 42% more than where we are today. This is this year versus last year. And then I looked at today. I'm racing last Friday. I'm looking at today, and we're at 29,839. That is up 2.4%. So we are increasing a little bit more than where we were earlier, but I want everybody to understand that that's not a giant change. That's not huge, and we didn't do that much of a change over the weekend. But what we're doing is we're seeing a real gradual increase. We don't have the demand that's matching it. Usually we get demands that peaks in middle of May, but we've dropped down to demands that we haven't seen since many years. So active listing inventory, this is where we are in Orange County. April 2nd, we were at 4,183. And that's up 0.6% in 2 weeks. Last year, there were 6,876. There were 64% more homes in the market in Orange County last year. This is the difference between this year and last year. I'm going to do this county by county so you can see how little homes we have. 4,273 right now today. That's 2.2% over where we were 12 days ago. But I want everybody to understand this. All the demand readings that I'm going to be showing you date back to like the Great Recession. So people understand demand has really slowed. Totally understand. That's an absolute given. So we have that same variable. But the different variable that we have, because when we're looking at supply and demand, you have to take into consideration both supply and demand, not just low demand. Back in 2007 in Orange County, there was 18,000 homes on the market. That's over 4 times where we are today. So you could see if 18,000 homes versus 4,273, there's a lot more homes on the market. Do you see the big difference? It's gigantic. So this force, when you have really low demand and you have so much supply, that favors buyers. But when you have this low supply, this favors sellers, and you have the low demand, which favors buyers. It's kind of a balancing act. And I go back to this. This is Orange County. Now, I have numbers in all of Southern California that go back to 2012. In Orange County, I have numbers that consistently go back to 2004. And in looking at it, going back to 2004, if you see in 2006, we reached 16,000 homes in Orange County. 2007, it was 18,000. And then in 2008, we were again very close to 16,000 homes on the market. Remember where we are today. We're at not even 5,000 homes on the market in Orange County. As a matter of fact, it's at 4,273. So we haven't reached 4,500 homes on the market. So then I want everybody to understand this. When you have that amount of supply and demand's way down here, and if you look at this demand reading, it's right where we are today as far as demand's concerned. But you have this big gap. You have all these people competing against each other and demand way down here. That's when people give away the farm and they say, gosh, you know what? I have to reduce my price in order to get my home sold. Then we had this in 2013. That's where the supply sat right on top of demand, and we had an expected market time of less than 30 days. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was very hard to transact anywhere in Southern California back in end of 2012, start of 2013. This is where we are today. And I point this out because, yes, demand is really low. It's actually down to here. So it's almost like it was at the very beginning of the year. This was the beginning of the year. We came up, now we're coming back down again. But we're right here. And if you draw a line across here, that's right at that about 1,000, 1,200 home mark. And this is listing inventory. The gap between the inventory and demand is still really narrow. And when it's narrow like this, we don't see pushback in pricing. And buyers want there to be pushback in pricing. It just won't exist. There's not enough pressure and there's not enough competition for sellers to give away the farm. When you have that many homes on the market, there's a lot of pressure because nobody is being successful. We do have success here. And it boils down to that supply and demand thing. And no, we're not headed to the Great Recession. I just showed you why it is so different. And I've had these discussions with people. What they don't understand is there are industries that are getting hit really hard. We're all getting hit hard. But the good news for housing is we're coming from such a solid, fundamentally solid, hot market that what it's done is it's just neutralized the market right now. So we have balance. And if you look at LA County, they were down 1% in 2 weeks. This was as of 12 days ago. And then they, last year, they had 51% more homes on the market, almost 13,000 homes. And if you go, that's the difference between this year and last year. Today it's at 8,907. They're up 4.3% compared to here. And they're actually growing the most. I wonder, I was always wondering if they did the essential order, if there'd be too many people that would come to list their homes. And it looks like it's only happening in LA right now. But in 2007, there were 32,000 homes on the market. That's over 3 times. That's a lot more homes compared to where we are today. So you can see the big difference is we still don't have the supply. Even with it rising 4.3%, that's not much. And it needs to rise a lot more to get us to here. Yet the stay-at-home order will end and people will be able to transact. Are we going to transact the way we did before? Absolutely not. We're going to have We're not going to be doing open houses like we did before. There's going to be a change. There's going to be still people wearing masks. We're going to be very protective when we go and see places. So there's a certain way that we're going to have to conduct business, but we will be able to conduct business a lot easier down the road. Starting, and my forecast for this is just like by reading everything in the tea leaves. It looks like it's going to be June 1st when we're finally opening up the California. And then if you see this is San Diego. They grew 4% in 2 weeks. They're at 5,018. They were coming off of the smallest bottom. They have no homes on the market. It was amazing. Last year, 6,751. They had 35% more. This difference between this year and last year. Today, they're at 5,140. That's 2.5% more than where they were 12 days ago. And in 2007, they had 20,000 homes on the market, nearly 4 times as many homes as where they are today. They had way too many homes in the market. They don't have enough here. This is the counter to low demand. And then we have Riverside County, the same scenario. April 9th, 6,924, up 4% in 2 weeks. Last year, 9,240, 34% difference between there and there. There's today, it's actually nearly the same as where it was last Thursday, because I did this last Thursday. And 2007, there were 27,000 homes, nearly 4 times the number of homes on the market. So are you getting the feeling here of what's going on? And this is San Bernardino, is up 3% in 2 weeks, 4,563. There's 34% more homes in the market last year than this year. Today we're at 4,580, nearly the same. And then we have 2007, that's 18,000 homes, nearly 4 times again. A lot more homes on the market back then. That I want to show you that because that makes a gigantic difference. The difference is there's a supply issue of not enough homes. We had a supply of way too many homes back prior to the Great Recession. Now we have very little supply, which when you have very little supply on that scale, it really favors the sellers. But then we have very little demand, which favors buyers. Then it kind of is a balancing act. The COVID-19, I hear Ziki in the background. Dad, COVID-19 demand problem. Do you want to say hello to everybody? Yeah. Come here real quick. Come here, Ziki. He just woke up from a nap, and apparently he's being dressed by his siblings. Are you having fun? Say hi to everybody. Hi. Say hello. All righty. So there you go, Ziki. Thank you for participating in our Facebook Live. I appreciate it. So COVID-19 is a demand problem that exists, and if you look at Southern California demand, I'm not going to go county by county. I want everybody to know this is where the demand is right now. Demand is way down. Hang on just 1 minute. We have a 2-year-old that has hijacked the Facebook Live. Ziki, go outside and see if you can find some snails. Southern California demand year over year, you can see we're way down. We're way down. We were at a very groovy spot. It was absolutely fantastic. We are way down. April 2nd, 11,135. We went down 30% in 2 weeks. Last year we were at 16,388. That's the orange line. We were doing way better than last year because the first half of 2019 wasn't very good. And you see this last year, 47% more demand than where we are today. So we went right down and just fell because we shut the economy down to Great Recession levels as far as demand is concerned. And this is what buyers are hanging their hat on. But what we have to show them and what buyers have to understand and sellers is you got to look at what's going on in the inventory side of things and compare it to what's going on in the demand side of things. And that's why the market's not going to quite be what everybody was anticipating, at least buyers were hoping for and anticipating. And today we're at 8,491. That's down 24% from 12 days ago. So we're down quite a bit from that. But now this is a true reflection of real solid demand within the coronavirus stay-at-home lockdown. Before because I do the last 4 weeks of pending sales activity, there was some of it towards that was older, that was prior to the lockdown. But now we have all this fresh data, and this is about as low as it gets. We'll see what happens by Thursday, but that's going to slow down as far as how quickly it's coming down. It's not going to keep on falling all the way down to zero, and then it will be a deep buyer's market. That's just not going to happen. We're down 10% since last Thursday, so we're down 24% since then, 10% since last Thursday. But I want everybody to take this with a grain of salt. I snapped this number as of today. And this was actually all the way through yesterday, and that is a reflection of Monday. Usually my data does not look good until Thursday, so this number most likely is going to either stay the same or get better. So understand that. And this is the expected market time for Southern California. SoCal, April 2nd, that was 11 days ago, or 12 days ago, 79-day expected market time. And hang on. And so SoCal last year was at 76 days. So it looks like we just crossed that orange line, but taking into consideration where we are today with the decreased demand and the active inventory rising slightly, we're in expected market time for all of SoCal of 105 days. Now, as far as where we are today, LA County is at 104-day expected market time as of today. And Orange County is at 112 days. Riverside's at 124 days, so softest in Riverside. A lot of this has to do with, don't worry if you're in Corona or Norco or Murrieta, who's bringing down this curve, or actually is making this curve go higher as far as the expected market time, is the low desert, Palm Springs, Palm Desert, that area. They're sitting on a very high expected market time right now. They've really slowed down because they're a secondary market. So San Bernardino County is at 102 days, and then we have San Diego County at 87-day expected market time. So San Diego County is still the hottest, but they're just about to tip into balanced market. Pretty much this is balanced. 87 days feels totally balanced. It means that doesn't favor buyers or sellers. That's what a balanced market means. And I go back to this to show you, remember, if we had that supply back then to today's demand, it's going to mirror where the expected market time was back prior to the Great Recession. Now keep in mind, this would be only if we had as many homes on the market as prior to the Great Recession with today's demand. And you'll see why prior to the Great Recession that the market favored buyers and just absolutely dropped like a rock. Because for all of LA County is at 400 days, for Orange County is at 487 days, for Riverside was at 338 days, for San Bernardino County is at 469 days, and San Diego County is at 374 days. You can see back then that with that extra homes on the market and today's demand, which is very, very similar to the Great Recession, you can see with numbers like this, yes, that would be a deep buyer's market where prices would free fall down. And that's what occurred. But this is not where we are today. Where we are today is here. And why are we here? We're balanced because demand is at its bottom right now, probably where the reading was that I took today. And we have an inventory that is not really growing much at all and is very muted. And people are going, well, why isn't there more homes coming on the market? There's less demand because there's a lot of homeowners. There's a lot of demand buyers that are skipping purchasing right now. There's a lot of homeowners that are skipping selling right now. And people say, well, there should be a wave down the road of a lot of sellers coming on. It's not going to work like that. It's going to be this slow thaw where we continuously see everything thaw, more active inventory coming on after the lockdown is lifted, as well as more demand starting to ramp up because we will have excellent interest rates to boot. Interest rates are fantastic, especially if you fit in that little box. I mean, if you're looking for something really good, you can get really low, awesome, incredible rates right now. And then, so it's a balanced market. That's where we are today. It's not a buyer's market. And I have to show this because I want everybody to understand this is where a balanced market is. This is where we are right now. We're not going to get much more than 120 days. Riverside County is right now. And I told you that's that low desert region. That doesn't mean when you get up into here, this is where we are today. This is where we're going. This is where it will flatten out. This is where, if it gets up here, it's called a slight buyer's market. That's where buyers get a call more of the shots, but home values are not going down significantly at all. And we could get into that in some areas where it goes down 1%. So you're talking $1 million house, you get $10,000 off. Things like that could occur. And I could definitely see that's plausible. It's just not going to go from $1 million home down to $900,000. I'm so sorry that's not going to happen, because this whole society is going to be unlocked coming down the road. And then above this red line, which is 150 days, this is where it's a deep buyer's market. You have to play here for a while, because remember, I was showing you numbers of like 400, 300, the 300s and 400s. Those are deep buyer's market numbers. That's well above where I have established this as 150 days. That would be way up here. We're not going to get way up here. Just not going to happen. So we're not going to go into a deep buyer's market. We're not going to give away the farm. We're not going to go down 15, 20% in value like so many people are hoping for. And I hope I've explained why, so people understand. Low mortgage rates are going to be the rocket fuel that absolutely propels us out of this thing. And it's going to help all kinds of industries. Bless you. One of my kids sneezed. And I want everyone to understand too, the mentality of sellers is it's very, very hard. If you've got this, let's say you're in the Panama Canal or right around the Panama Canal, and you got this real narrow area. Let's say you wanted to do a U-turn. It's not so easy to do a U-turn in a big giant cruise ship like this. And this is like the thinking of homeowners. For it to be a buyer's market and it starts stripping away values, it has to be there for a while. So the thinking of sellers has to go from, I'm going to make money, I'm going to make this much money, I'm going to make this profit, to I'm going to have to reduce it below the last comp in order to get it sold, and this is what I'm willing to do. It takes a long time for that mentality of sellers to completely do that turn in these narrow canals. And that typically takes about 9 months for that mentality to shift. And at the quickest, I think with something like this, it'd have to be 6 months. So we'd have to be locked down for 6 months for us to get into an area where we start to really peel away. But we're not going to be locked up for 6 months. We've already seen societies are freed. We're already talking about the end of the light of the tunnel, the light at the end of the tunnel. Tongue twister. The light at the end of the tunnel is coming up. So this doomsday scenario, it takes a long time for it mentally to get there, and it's just not going to get there in time for buyers to get that advantage, because there's also not a lot of competition for sellers. There's only some people that are willing to play, but they want to play. That's what they want to play in this market. They want to try to sell their house because they see there's not a whole heck of a lot that they're competing against right now. And luxury in Orange County, I know I'm going a little long, but hey, that's what it's about. Luxury in Orange County at 1,250,000 plus. I wanted everybody to know the expected market time as of last Thursday, and I promised I would do this last Friday, is at 271 days. It was at 121 5 weeks ago. And in LA, it's at 346 days. It was 155 5 weeks ago. They're 1,500,000 plus for luxury. In San Diego, it's at 245 days. They were at 118 days 5 weeks ago. So you can see the big shift. Luxury is being affected the most. And that's because they're the ones that have their portfolios, a lot of investments and things like that took a hit. So when that takes a hit, everybody kind of stops. And that's what's happened to the luxury range. And then luxury in Riverside County, we went over these numbers before, but it's 378 days. That's for 650,000 plus. So all those people in the low desert understand that it's really, really slow. You're at over a 1 year expected market time is 166 4 weeks ago. And San Bernardino's at 229. It was 125 4 weeks ago. And then we have these buyers that want to time the market. Again, absolutely. I want to know what the formula is for timing the market, because they're going to lose. The only way you can time the market perfectly is if you get lucky. And I don't want to bet on luck. I want to bet on where mortgage rates are today and what I'm telling you right now, that home values are not going to take a whack. So take advantage of the low rates. We can do lots of manipulations and slides down the road of how wonderful the rates are so that you can purchase a lot of home and you save a lot on a monthly basis. You care about that monthly payment. You care about it like you care about your auto payment. You negotiate like crazy for an automobile to save $15 a month. I can show you down the road what it means to look at a 3.25% interest rate versus a 3.5% versus a 4%, or versus where it was 5%. back in 2018. And for those buyers that are considering just sitting on the fence, I would say that as soon as you start to see this thaw and this stay-at-home order lift, you're going to see more buyers get off the fence, and the demand activity will start because they're taking advantage of the great interest rates. So, just in time, you want to end this with me, buddies and people? I've got kids. Might as well end it with them. So, reportsonhousing.com. You get a month free if you sign up today, and the coupon code is HOME, HOME, because that's where I am, HOME. And these are, this is Alana, Alana. This is Ezekiel, Zeke, and this is Athena. And I hear somebody running here as fast as they can. Footsteps, I think he's here. He has arrived. It is Mason. And it's Mason Edward. Yes, that's right. So you can go to my website, see sample reports, but please do take a look at it. And thank you for our sponsor, decontaminatehome.com. Go there and you can start at $395. Hey, Mia, are you going to give it a shot? I've got 4 out of the 5 kids.
Please, Mia.
Come on, Mia. Everybody wants to see the incredible runner. She's running 19.6 miles on Saturday. So that's it, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to everybody seeing you guys online tomorrow. A whole bunch of boards in conjunction with the Orange County Realtors. They will be online tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and we'll be doing a massive Zoom. And then I'll be back for the housing debrief on Friday. Everybody stay safe. Get outside, get some sunshine, get your vitamin D on, and just enjoy life and count your blessings. And for all those people out there, all my friends out there, I just appreciate you being there and all the support. So everybody take it easy and have a fantastic finish to your Tuesday. Right, Nia? I got her.